Good morning, children. Now I'll start. It is a continuation of Indian physiography. I explained about Himalayan mountains. The first greater Himalayas, Himadri, I explained. Now the second division of Himalayan mountains is the second one is Lesser Himalayas. What it is? Lesser Himalayas. And it is known as Himachal. It is Himachal. First one was the Greater Himalayas, is known as Himadri because it is covered with snow, and the Lesser Himalayas is known as Himachal, and it is also known as one second. Yeah, they are all here. Also, many ranges are there, and they are of average height of this ranges are around 1,500 to 4,500 meters high. They are. So, average height is 1,500 to 4,500 kilometers high. And next we see the width of it is width is 60 to 80 kilometers. And the important ranges of this are Pirpanjal, Dauladhar, then we have the Nagita, Mussoorie. And also we have important hill stations here. Hill stations are important hill stations of Lesser Himalayas are Nainital, Mussoorie, Shimla, Ranikhet, Mussoorie, and Nainital. So here the Lesser Himalayas, the width is about 50 to 60 to 80 kilometers, and the height is about 1,500 to not kilometers, it is meters. Sorry. Okay, it is 4,500 meters high, and here we see many ranges are there to the same level. They are Pirpanjal, Dauladhar, then Nagatimba, then we are seeing Mussoorie. Important hill stations are also there. They are Shimla, Ranikhet, Mussoorie, and Nainital. Next, we go to the outer Himalayas. That is the slopy region of ranges of Himalayan mountains. So here the slopy mountains height is very less, and moreover they are all slopy regions, and small hill stations are there, and also valleys are there, flat bottom, which are called as dunes. Okay. Okay. Next, One is this one, the Shivalik hills. The Shivalik hills, which is known as Outer Himalayas. And it ranges from the what width is around 15 to 150 kilometer, because it is slopy, and height is 600 to 1500 meters. Okay. Next, here we find the important we have here, and it continues from Jammu and Kashmir. It is from Jammu and Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh. Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh. Next, we see here this continues from Jammu Kashmir, full from the Jammu Kashmir till the eastern side in Arunachal Pradesh, and we have here dunes. What are these dunes? Dunes are nothing but on the valley, flat surface. Okay, it is known as two sides mountains will be there, and inside that flat bottom surface will be there. That is, and in longitudinal way, in this way. Okay, so that is known as dunes, and important are Dehradun and Dehradun is there, and then so on. Okay, so dunes are the flat bottom surface of the valleys. And next, so here Himalayas. Now, what are the importance of Himalayas? See, Himalayan mountains acts as a barrier, frontier barrier for, it's a great wall of boundary for border for the protection. Okay, so importance, this is also very important question, children. Importance of Himalayan mountains. So the first one is, it is a barrier or great wall. Okay, and it protects from enemies, isn't it? It's a great barrier or great wall of India at the border. Next, it avoids cold winds from Central Asia, and it also what you call rain bearing. It gives the it keeps the rain barrier clouds. It doesn't allows the clouds to go away, and it brings rain for us. So now this one is the third one is, it protects, it acts as a natural frontiers. Very shortly I will write. So next is, it avoids it obstructs rain bearing winds. Okay, it obstructs rain bearing winds, and next rain bearing winds, and next it is having huge mineral resource. We find more minerals here. Okay, minerals are found, and next we have, because of the rays of many rivers here, it also gives us hydroelectric power. So, importance of Himalayan mountains, it's a natural frontier for India, and next it avoids cold bearing winds from which is flowing from blows from Central Asia. Then it also obstructs the rain bearing winds, okay, which gives rain for us, okay, the which are raising the rain. It won't allow this because of the great height of Himalaya. No, these rain clouds will not be allowed to go to the other side. So it will be avoiding, and therefore what happens? We will get more rain in India. Next, minerals are found here. Many minerals on the Rocky Mountains, on the rocky region of Himalayas. And next, we have, because of the rays of many rivers from the very great height of Himalayan mountains, it is very good for producing hydroelectric power. Next, we go to the northern plains. Now, yeah. So this one, now we will go to northern plains. Northern plains. So northern plains is a deposition. It is like depositional of the soil from the Himalayan mountains. It is all minerals, everything. You know, Himalayan mountains. From there, many rivers are there. Here, three systems like river Ganga, Brahmaputra. All these rivers will come, and they are flowing from Himalayan mountains. And these rivers, which are flowing, no, these rivers, what, no, when they are flowing from outside, see the rocks of Himalayan mountains will have so many minerals and all that minerals, okay, in the which is called as alluvial, okay, that minerals, and along with the soil particles, they are deposited on these plains. Okay, northern plains, no, these all soil particles along with alluvial. Alluvial means it is nothing but rich mineral content. All that is brought down by these rivers and deposited here on the northern plains. So that's why these plains will have high fertile soil, that is alluvial soil. Okay, and this alluvial soil is very, very excellent for the growth of agricultural crops. So this deposition is brought down by the rivers of Himalayan mountains and deposited on the northern plains. And here this alluvial tract which is there in northern plains, no, it is one of the largest alluvial tract in the world. So here, and the area which covers area of northern, it is 7 lakh kilometers square. And next is we have and the soil is deposited by 3 river system. three river system. And next, and we have, which is that one, the Ganga, Brahmaputra, Satluj, Ganga, and Brahmaputra river system. Okay, this deposition is brought by this system, which is that, so these rivers which flows from, which are raising from Himalayan mountains, and from there it flows down, no? From there they bring all the deposition soil to the northern plains. And this alluvial track, they bring down the alluvial deposit. And now this alluvial tract is the largest tract in the world, and the length is 2,500 kilometer, and the width is 240 to 340 kilometers. Okay, so this is the track, and it is one of the world's largest track in the world. And next we come to this one. Here the importance of and here one more nature of this northern plain is the rocks are not exposed. You see, when we dig out for agriculture and all, rocks are not found. So the layer of the soil is very thick on the northern plain, and rocks are never seen at all to some depth. You got my point, no? So once again I am explaining northern plains. Northern plains, here the whole soil, alluvial means mineral content soil, is deposited by three river system, that is Satluj, Ganga and Brahmaputra, which are these rivers, they flow from Himalayan mountains, and while coming they bring so many mineral content soil and they deposit on the northern plain. The northern plain length is 2,500 kilometers and the width is 240 to 340 kilometers, and the track is, and the area covered of northern plains is 7 lakh kilometers square, and here it is one of the largest alluvial track in the world. And next we go to the importance of northern plains. So importance is nothing but nothing in the sense, the importance is because of its plain surface, it is very good for road, railway, suitable for road, railway and communication. Okay, communication system. And next, so, and transportation, for everything it is very good, and also because of high fertility, it is very good for growing, for agriculturalization, because of high fertility, agriculture, and because of agriculture, industrialization, useful for industrialization, and urbanization. Okay, so this one. Next we see next we go to the peninsular plateau. Peninsular plateau we have here. Peninsular So peninsular plateau, I already said it is a raised mound land above the plains and lesser height than the mountains. So now peninsular plateau we have in India in this way. See. Here it is in this shape, triangular in shape. It starts from here Aravalli ranges and next Vindhya ranges, then Western Ghats, then Eastern Ghats and up to Mahanadi Valley it is there. And so many ranges are there in this plateau. So many ranges are there. Here Aravalli range, and in Aravalli range, Guru Shikhar is the highest range. Okay, Aravalli range, Guru Shikhar is the highest range. Guru Shikhar is the highest range. Next here, Vindhya ranges, and this will start from Tapi river. And here we have Chota Nagpur plateau. It is from Mahanadi to and here to here Kanyakumari. This is the edge. And we see here Western Ghats. This is Western Ghats, children. This is actually coastal plains. So here we are having Western Ghats and next here Eastern Ghats. Okay, Eastern Ghats and here Kanyakumari edge. And now when you come from Vindhya ranges and all, when here Guru Shikhar is the highest peak, and next in the Western Ghats, there is lot of difference between Western and Eastern Ghats. This is Eastern Ghats. Eastern Ghats starts from Mahanadi to Kanyakumari. Western Ghats from Tapi Valley, Tapi River to Kanyakumari, and Eastern Ghats from Mahanadi to Kanyakumari. And whole peninsular is triangular in shape. In the northern side, you see many ranges are there. These ranges are called Aravalli range, Vindhya range, and here we have Chota Nagpur plateau again, and here Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats. So there is lot of difference between Eastern and Western Ghats. The difference is Western Ghats are steep over to the western side and slopey towards the eastern side. Western Ghats I am talking about here. So when you travel from Bangalore to Dharmasthala and you see lot of, they are all called as towards south, they are called as Sahyadri Hills. And this is very, you see so many hills now when you go to Dharmasthala, you are going down, 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 isn't it? These hills only are Western Ghats. Okay. And next we see these Western Ghats are steep and they are continuous. Western Ghats are continuously, these ranges are there. These hills are there. Whereas the Eastern Ghats are slopy and they are discontinuous. Okay. And in Western Ghats, the highest peak yeah. Highest peak is Annamudi. Annamudi is the highest peak. And they are steep and continuous. And next we see in the Eastern Ghats. Eastern Ghats are slopy and they are not continuous. They are not continuous. They are broader and they are broader. Okay. And highest peak is Armakonda. Armakonda is the highest peak. Okay. And next we see the importance of these peaks. What is the importance of these peaks? Yeah, importance of peninsular plateau. Importance of peninsular plateau. So here we have the importance is that it has and one more thing, the central part, so it is called as Deccan Plateau children, and that ends from Tapi River to here, Mahanadi Valley, no, inside the core, that is called as Central Plateau or Deccan Plateau. What Peninsular Plateau is there, no, here, like this. So the inner one is a Deccan Plateau. And next we come, and this is Eastern Ghats and Vindhya to Eastern Ghats and all that. Okay. Next, I explained no same thing, but the inner core is called as Deccan Plateau or Central Plateau. Next, we go for importance. Here, the importance is that it has thick cover, forest coverage. Thick forest is there. Then we have on to the western sides, and because of that, what you call, we have flora and fauna. And next here, because of western southwestern, this Western Ghats causes and because of this Ghats plateau, now we get southwest monsoons rain. Next, we have here and the rivers, they are, and black soil over is used for agriculture, and next we go for directly for, and also it is good for producing hydroelectricity for generation of the rivers, no, which are falling from the high region to lower region, no? Because of that it is good for hydroelectric power. Okay, next we see the this one, importance, I told you. Next we go for the coastal plains. Yeah, here it is starts from run of Kutch. Yeah, these are the coastal region. This is coastal, and this is eastern coast, and this is western coast. Here we have these coastal plains are, western coastal plains are between Arabian Sea and Western Ghats, and eastern coastal plains are between Bay of Bengal and eastern Ghats, eastern Ghats. So next, it starts from run of Kutch, and then up to Kanyakumari here in the south, and from Kanyakumari to Mahanadi Valley. Okay, up to here, these coastal plains are there. Now, what is the difference between western coastal plains and here western coast is very narrow and eastern coastal plains are very broader. They are more. And next we see here the what you call, here it is divided into three. Okay, western coastal plains are divided into three. From Mumbai to Goa, it is Konkan and this one. Yeah, from Gujarat to Goa, it is Konkan. Yes, this is from Gujarat. I will write here. It is say from here, run of Kutch to that is from till up to Goa. Okay, this particular place is called as Konkan Coast. That is from Gujarat to Goa. Okay, next is from here, Goa to Mangalore. That is Karnataka coast. From Mangalore to, Goa to Mangalore. And next we see the Malabar coast, that is from Mangalore to Kanyakumari. And again in the eastern side, it is divided into two. From here to Kanyakumari to till here, it is Coromandel coast. And from here to here, it is Northern Sarkar. Okay, so Eastern Ghats is divided into two, Coromandel coast and Northern Sarkar, and the western is from run of Kutch to Goa, it is, that is Gujarat, to Goa it is Konkan, and from Goa to Mangalore it is Karnataka, Mangalore to till Kanyakumari it is this one, what is that, Malabar coast. And now we see the importance of this coastal. Importance of coastal is that it is very good for, these plains are good for agriculture, and the coastal plains are fishing, marketing, harbors are there, natural harbors are there. You see Visakhapatnam, Mumbai, Maram and Kochi, these are all important ports, natural ports of this coast. They form natural harbors. Okay, these importance are, they form natural harbors. And next, it is like good for fishing, agriculture, then navigation. Backwaters are specially used for navigation purpose. Okay, backwaters are used. And next we have here natural harbors. Which are the harbors? Visakhapatnam, then we have Kochi, Kolkata, then Maram Goa, Mumbai, Kandla, so they are all important harbors of these coastal places. Which are that one? Mumbai, Visakhapatnam, Kochi, Kolkata, Maram Goa, Kandla, and also for shipbuilding also they are very good. Shipbuilding. Okay, shipbuilding also they are very good. And next we go for the last natural physiographic division, that is island. Islands, important islands. Islands are like we have nearly, we have here 247 islands are there. Among them 204 are in Bay of Bengal, and rest of it is in West Arabian Sea, and they are called as another 43 in Arabian Sea, which is Lakshadweep Island, and Andaman and Nicobar. And Andaman and Nicobar Island. Okay. So with this, this unit is over, children. So with this, I end up my class. Thank you. Stay home. Stay safe. See you all soon. Thank you.